largest genera of flowering plants is the salvia. They range from little alpine plants or little steppe plants from Central Asia through to tall tropical plants in Central America. They go from Japan to England, from Russia to America, and all the places between. About 800 different wild species in all. Salvia nemorosas, which you see here, are Southern European, Eastern European, growing into the Caucasus and in Greece and Turkey and those sort of areas. They only come in shades of white, mauve, purple and pink. And we've put them here in this garden, as you can see, in blocks. And they're mirror image blocks on either side. And we've used this particular plant because it does flower for such a long time. Starts in early November, goes through until January flowering, when we cut it back in early January, cut it to the ground in early January, and then it comes back and flowers again in the autumn. Late summer, autumn, so February, March, April and into May. We then cut it back to the ground again because underplanted in this area are lots of bulbs. The trees we've grown here are a very narrow pyrus, that's a pear. It's one called Valiant, and it only grows a couple of meters wide. And that's all we want because we don't want it to shade these plants here. Now they range in height, these Salvia nemorosas, from the low one here, which is Blauhugel, which only ever grows about 40 centimeters tall, to the taller ones like Lambley Nursery or Cape Glen, which will eventually grow about just under a meter tall. If you ever buy one of those English coffee table garden books with rose gardens illustrated, you'll always sort of see this lovely mauve blue plant at the front of it. It's a catmint. And this is the particular catmint which they use. It's called Nepeta Six Hills Giant. It's named after the nursery, Six Hills Nursery, of the Elliot family. There was 2 or 3 generations of Elliots, and it was a seedling that came up in the nursery. And it's by far, to my mind, the best of all the catmints. There are others like Walker's Blue or Walker's Low is its correct name, but it's more heavy in its effect. It's not this ethereal, pale, bluey mauve, it's darker. And then there are others that are smaller growing, but this one is really handsome in its own right. Now we use it in this garden in front of this wall for 2 reasons. The wall sort of wanders around, it's not a straight wall, you can see it comes in at all sorts of odd angles. And it's also underneath this, in the winter, you'll see thousands and thousands of hoop petticoat daffodils from Morocco and the dry hillsides of Spain. Now those daffodils to flower well want no summer water at all. So this catmint is a perfect cover for them. In the summer it flowers from, well, November through until January. We cut it back. It flowers then February, March, April into May, when we cut it back again because the daffodils are coming up. And this has grown right throughout the drought years with not one skerrick of water, not one drop of extra irrigation. And it has flowered like this every year. This is one of the best plants, as the English have found out, to grow with roses, because it flowers with the roses, and this colour is such a beautiful foil for all roses. It doesn't matter whether it's white, red, yellow, pink, it complements them all. So it's got a use that very few other plants have got in the garden.